We got to start now, guys. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the ordinary council meeting on the 28th of May 26. We'll open the meeting now. Warren Shire Council acknowledges the traditional owners of the land within the Shire and acknowledges the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who reside in this Shire. Item 3, calling for apologies. Obviously, Neil, we're all here. Congratulations. Thank you for what everybody's done in the last month since our last meeting. Confirmation of minutes. Item 4 minutes were circulated at the last council meeting. I'm just looking for that, please. Councillor Surdity. Second, please, Councillor Kinsey. Councillor Surdity.
Just moving the recommendation. Thank you.
Any discussion on the last minutes of the last council meeting? If not, I'll formally put that on those in favour. Councillors, disclosures of interest. As far as the General Manager and I are concerned, we've got none, and nothing to be brought up. Mayoral minute, and I'll ask somebody to move. I'll move that. That we go into item 1, General Manager, Warren Shire Mayoral minute, and second, Deputy Mayor Derek. Thank you. Guys, you've got all this in front of you, and we'll go through it with some speed because some relative more than the others. 2 days ago, the current code of meeting practice, or the ministers' meeting code of practice, was voted down in the MLC, in the upper house and state. What that means is that some political parties want it changed slightly, and it's gone back down to the lower house. Practically for us, the decision's been made, unless you guys got some discussion, that we're going to continue the way that we've been doing this physical year. There is nothing in our current code of meeting practice that is illegal under the last one. We're just changing. We're just keeping it as it is for now. So the pre-briefings that we used to have will be in this format. Unless anyone's got major, and we'll take that on board to think about that. There was no point going back to the old one. There was a lot of work doing our new one. I think it was working all right. So unless anybody's got any major comments, which I'm happy to take on board now, I think we'll continue to carry on under our renewed meeting code of practice. Anyone got any comments or questions about that? Councillor Brooke.
Mr. Mayor, that 8 o'clock pre-briefing briefing is still going to happen?
No, we're going to continue the way we've been doing it since we changed our code of practice.
So no discussion at all in that 8 o'clock session?
No. Well, that was going to be. Was against the rules.
Excuse me, but only if we discuss matters in the business paper, right? So it is an opportunity for us to discuss other matters, surely.
There is, if we rescind our motion and go back, but I can tell you that in the next month or so it'll be back there and be passed again. So we would have to change our meeting practices twice. We would have to rescind what we did, which was acceptable under the Act, then we would have to go back to our old meeting practice, and then in a few months we'll be doing it again. You know, so I think the logical way is to continue this process. So, anyone got any general matters to be brought up at this point in discussions? We do it under the mayoral minute, like we've been doing it since January 1. For January, whenever we had our first meeting, 24.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, I strongly disagree. It's that half an hour was the evolution of that half an hour came from several years ago when we had questions without notice, which was not a legal instrument of a council meeting. However, we changed that to be a discussion before the meeting so that we could ask questions about less important, rather trivial matters to put us on the right track on some things. And there's lots of examples of it. But they're not necessarily discussed in the meeting. And your mayoral minute, that's an instrument for the mayor. That's not easy for us to use, and it means we have to think of something well before.
You, but let me finish. You weren't at the meetings when we worked this out.
Okay, I'm not saying I was.
Prior to the business paper coming out, you can approach me and put anything on this list. And that was discussed how we would get around that thing. The way the minister's going, and it will be stronger if a certain party in the upper house gets their way. It will be stronger. There will be no discussion of anything, including committees, not in the public domain and live stream. That is what the Greens, or the one political party wants. So the meetings that you missed about, we had a discussion about how this would be managed. So I'm available from Wednesday prior to the meeting and before the business paper comes out to have anything on this general matters mayoral minute discussed. You cannot make a decision about it, but you can discuss it, and it can be on the general business paper. And that's why the paper that you got in front of you is not circulated until the morning, because it's live until I think the last change was Jody late last night, 5 o'clock last night. So if you'd have brought up something that you wanted to discuss this morning, knowing that we can't make a decision about it, but it can be brought to the notice of staff and mayor and councillors, that's fine. But that was the way that we successfully got around the information sessions without breaking the new code of business practice, code of meeting practice that we were enforced on.
One more question, if you don't mind. How many of these items on here were put forward by other councillors on this mayoral minute today?
None.
Rest my case.
Well, you didn't bring any to me. Yeah.
No one else did either.
Right.
I have a significant issue with it, but let's move on.
Let me also, Councillor Derrick.
Councillor Derrick, please.
Thank you to you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for clarifying the point of the mayoral minute and the fact that other councillors can have input. But I just want to reiterate that this development has only occurred 2 days ago. So I'm very much of the view that we can't really entertain the idea of changing or going back to our old code of meeting practice at this point, because it is still very much a live issue and we don't know what's going to happen next. So I think we may consider doing something differently again in the future, but at the moment we really can't do anything until we have further advice.
The timing of this was, I think, about 11:35 on Tuesday evening. So, Bert, whilst we've got the current minister, to revert to closed sessions not in front of the camera is, I can tell you it's not on. He wants to go further as well, but at the short notice,
Give up.
if you wish anything discussed that's not on the business paper or brought to the notice of you or any other councils, up until Wednesday evening prior to the council meeting, that you can approach me and I will put it on the mayoral minute so that it can be discussed. No decision is allowed to be made about it, but it can be openly discussed.
Just a comment and a clarification. As I understand it, the draft meeting code of practice came out a while back, which effectively outlawed us having an informal chat before a council meeting.
That's correct.
Yeah, so that's the reason that we've had to move to a different structure.
Yeah.
And from what I'm hearing now, that the upper house has said, well, hey, put this on hold, so it may or may not be outlawed, but we've decided just to continue the way it is for the moment.
Well, that would be because, sorry to interrupt us again, but because of the time frame, and it only happened 2 days ago, at the Hogs meeting yesterday, Councillor Derrett and I firmly agreed that we carry on, we don't jump back. There was some council meetings yesterday where, in other councils, where this, what are we going to do? You know what I mean? So I think for this, for the moment, and I appreciate where Councillor Brewer's coming from, but at this stage, let the dust settle. We'll carry on like the way we did it. There was, Councillor Derrett and myself and General Manager spent a whole weekend trying to get mid-range so we could still have discussions about matters. But while I can tell you now that private briefings are not in the camera in the current government minister will never come back, ever. He is strongly against it. Councillor Derrett.
Thank you, Ms. Mayor. Just one further point. Under the current code and the previous code, we also do have notices of motion or questions with notice, which we probably don't want to encourage the overuse of that has been seen in other councils. But that is also another option for councillors to bring something into the business paper. So, thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Sorry, General Manager.
and I encourage between the four of us to actually, where possible, to try to answer questions as fully as possible. And you will notice sometimes it'd be better if we actually do go back and do some more research, but where possible, we try to answer those questions within the meeting so we can have as much information as possible. And that is encouraged. And also, within reason, there is a fair amount of information within the business paper for you to ask questions on matters that will help you anyway.
Sorry, Councillor Houston.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor. I'm a bit like Councillor Brewer. I saw a lot of value in that pre-meeting, but just for some clarification. So, are you saying that we're not allowed to have an informal chat about things, not necessarily at the council meeting, but any other time? That's the way it's kind of the way I'm reading what you just said.
In the structure, we can have it's slightly more informal.
I'm talking between councillors.
No, between councils is fine. Our scenario here is that we're pretty congenial and get on reasonably well. I'll give you a couple of different scenarios that either politically or for other reasons, some councillors are in absolute blocks. This side will vote X and this side of Y, no matter what. The other thing that's happened in other councils is we've had up to 25 notices of motion. So anything minor that, by curb and guttering becomes a notice of motion, which has made those council meetings, and I'm not going to name the councils, but I've investigated and looked at their business paper. It's made their council meetings an absolute joke. So with everything minor to there's something as simple as lines on the road, which is important to that councillor, becomes a fully fledged notice of motion. I think that'd be untenable. I think council meetings would go for literally hours longer than they always do. So when the discussion of how we were going to be compliant with the minister's directive, which we thought this was the best way to do it through a mayoral minute, so that councillors can come to me and put on their discussions on a mayoral minute, so it can be discussed because it'll be discussed. As far as financial constraints and spending money, it's got to be done under formal notice of motion, or the staff come back as a report, which I realise pushes it back a month, but it can be done. So if we had a mayoral minute about X, Y, Z, and it was discussed here, the decision could be made that item go back to staff to give us a report for the next meeting. But I realise it's not as casual or as probably informative as the way it was, but it was. I'm sorry guys, it's not going to change with our current minister. No way.
One last comment, please.
Yep.
I just think this stifles inquiry and information exchange, and I appreciate that the HODs have a meeting on the Wednesday night, and thank you for thinking for us. I'm surprised and a little bit disappointed that you've decided that we'll just keep things the way they are and let's not change anything. And I'm also disappointed I wasn't at that meeting, because I'd have strongly rejected any changes to that half-hour meeting before the meeting, because it was incredibly useful and informative, and there are things in there that need clarification, and if they're brought up in error in a council meeting, they would be not only embarrassing for council but individuals if they had things wrong. All that meeting really was to clarify something that someone has either heard, one of the purposes of it, something that someone had heard that might not be correct or might be out of context. If you bring that into a council meeting, of course it's going to create a great deal of either distress or confusion to anyone who watches this video, if that's wrong or misdirected. That half hour beforehand sorted that sort of thing out, so things could, we could put small fires out before the meeting commenced, that might in future become an issue. And I understand we started off by saying we can't discuss matters in that meeting that's in the business paper. I accept that, that's fine. Those could be thrashed out in the meeting, but there are other issues that were discussed in that half an hour that provided clarity and correctness, so that there was not, embarrassment and inaccuracies later on. Now, if the meeting starts at 8:30,
I'm going to close you there, and I agree at 100%. I agree at 100%. 90% of the mayors at the country mayors meetings agree with you and company. Nearly all the mayors agree that that's the way it should be run. But I can tell you, politically, the minister will not have it, and he's told us bluntly that we can't have closed information sessions, because some councils, mainly in the metro area, have been in the political space, doing what could be mentioned as questionable. So I agree the way we were doing it was good and informative. We tried to get a compromise that would keep the minister at bay, but still achieve the outcomes. And if there's any discussion on that, I'm happy to take where we should go from here on in. But to have a private briefing session for part or all of the councillors, I think he's gone. Even if he does modify the next version of the Act.
Right, we're spending too much time on it, but I don't like it.
Appreciate it. That's fine. Anyone else want any comment to that? Item 2 on there is that there was a fair amount of work, and I congratulate Councillor Watson. There was probably 60 or 80 hours work put into our Murray Gully Basin submission. I thank you, Tony, for your help with that. We contracted David Duncan to help us with that. Our submission is on my desk in there if anyone wants to see it. Also, the Alliance of the Western Council submissions in there as well. Where you will see on our Facebook and LinkedIn sites the media stuff of that's happening at the moment. Tony, I was away, but we had a meeting with the Inspector General, Water Compliance staff, the federal Overwatch. I unfortunately was away for that, but Tony, would you like to comment about that meeting?
Yeah, what the Inspector General Troy Grant investigated was that the federal government provided about $170 odd million to both Queensland and New South Wales, the Queensland equivalent of DECU, to do various management changes to the way water was managed. There were 2 parts to that. There was an organisational part which got the 2 state departments together to coordinate water management, environmental water management, to try to coordinate releases of water to have best outcomes. That part of the project was considered to be very successful by the Inspector General because that involved organisation within those 2 state water departments, and they cooperated and they did the desk work that was required. So he was happy with that. However, there were a lot of on-ground works which they were asked to do and put up their hands to do various on-ground physical projects. There was a problem in as much that the federal government handed over the money to the 2 state departments and then said, you go and do the work. So they had access to the funds and they basically, there were too many projects, they were poorly costed and they were not done. Some of them were not done, some of them were not done to a standard or to the specifications that were originally laid out. So in the short, he was highly critical in careful bureaucratic language. He was highly critical of the 2 state departments. There was no oversight to show just what the progress was, what the plans were, and whether the plans were adhered to. So, in short, you know, it was pretty damning. He's liaised with the two state departments, and they had various excuses and word exchanges about why they hadn't managed to comply. But it's a damning indictment on the management of federal funds.
I'll stop you there, Councillor. Yeah, and we addressed some of those items in our. If you read our response to the Murray-Darling Basin Plan. Thanks, Tony. Sorry.
I was also at the meeting, and just a couple of other comments was the works were being carried out before the business plan were even established. It seems like the tight timeline forced people to do things without a lot of planning. It seemed like 90% of the dollars were going to project management, not to the works on the ground. And I'm having a chat to people at OET or whatever about some of the works that have happened here at Oakley and up at Yetman, and the amount of money it costs for not very much.
Thank you, Councillor. Same theme, different. For those that are not aware, I wrote to Minister Rose Jackson our Macquarie Warrnambool water security, the project that this council, previous councils have been fighting for years to guarantee a third year of the river running in a major drought scenario. The reply letter to the minister is on your desk there. The only thing that I'll bring up, yesterday I had 30 minutes with the minister over Zoom meeting, and she did admit that the interaction with the DQ staff could have been better managed, and I took that at face value. She's also granted me next Monday a meeting with which is number 5, I think, the executive director in infrastructure development delivery, senior lady in DQ, to put in train a process of putting our modelling against theirs. Some of that stuff that's in the letter that is, or the information that's been given to the minister is definitely wrong. So the process is underway. That she met with us yesterday, conceded that the information she's been advised and has let us take our information to Miss Hingerty. So watch this space, guys. That's where we're going. So some of the facts are wrong. The modelling again that David Duncan's helped us do. Some of the facts in that letter are definitely incorrect. Unfortunately, the minister's been advised wrongly by the DQ staff, and I publicly say that's not the first time the minister's been advised wrongly by DQ staff. 6, quickly, guys, we're doing our annual show, tent and information session. Please contact Jody for your best times of that. And following on to that, there's another one in 7 for Marrickville Days, the 10th of July. So if anyone's free at that, that's I've got a thumbs up there. Now talk to Jody about that. I think the now biennial that the field day, it is good flag waving thing down there. Our the relationship, even though they're in my ward, the extremes of the Shire sometimes feel left out of it, and it's important. quickly on to 8. The RFDS Growth Services Expo, if anyone's not aware of that, that's when all the NGOs get together with the, and it was over here at previously at the youth complex, is now over at the Oval, Victoria Park. That's staff will be there with that if any councillors wish to go. And the last one that I've got there from my point of view is that you might be aware that years ago there was a new highway task force, basically driven by the ex-mayor of Parkes, and was set up, and it had a lot of success. A month or so ago, I travelled to Maitland and we were meeting about the Newell Highway because of the implications of what the res and all the slow-moving traffic coming to the Newell Highway and the upgrading of the Newell Highway and all the wind towers that are going to come out of the Port of Newcastle, the wind towers. And so, with Minister Atchison's approval, there is going to be now a Newell Highway Task Force. We've been invited to be a member, but we haven't. It's still in the planning stages yet. The financial implications of that and what costs that would be, we are not there, but we'll keep you informed in that, and the decision to make whether we join will be done by you guys, when we've got all the details. But besides personal access and driving the Golden Highway, it has implications on every bit of freight that comes out of Newcastle for us. So the delays, the time frames and stuff are already affecting the freight, fertiliser, fuel, everything that comes out of it affects us. And whilst both the Mayor of Gilgandra Shire and Coonamble Shire, we're actively trying to say that just because it's the Golden Highway to Novo from Dunedoo out our way needs to be under consideration as well. And that's all I've got. But I'm happy that after our previous discussion, I'm happy for any of you guys to discuss any of those matters, and if you approach me before Wednesday, I'm happy to put other things on the mayoral minute. And I'll probably close it there and call for got that. So all those in favour? Thank you, councillors. Item 7, we'll move through these. Some of these are important, some are I don't think we'll spend as much time on them, but anyhow, I'm looking for item 7.1 or 8, meeting of the Sporting Facilities Committee meeting held on Monday, the 11th of May. Council. Councillor McCloskey, I apologise. Seconder. Please be. Thank you, Councillor McCloskey.
To the Mayor. Yeah, we had a meeting on the 11th of May, the Sporting Facilities Committee. It was a rather quick and simple meeting, given there wasn't a lot on the agenda. A number of items were discussed, though, with respect of the lights at Victoria Oval, which at the time of the meeting were proposed to be finalised or fixed in the next week or two. So I'm not sure whether that has been done or whether completed. I've just been given the thumbs up that is the case. Also spoke about the watering of the ovals, particularly in the event of rain events like now, because I noticed after a previous rain event, the sprays on Carter Oval were still in operation. So looking to monitor them and potentially adjust them so that when and if it rains, they don't automatically come on. So that it doesn't look like, you know, we're watering when we don't need to be. So that's in the wind. And also the pending transition of cricket from Victoria Oval to Carter Oval, with a view that Carter Oval and the new pitch will be ready for operation come the pending cricket season. And that being successful and all users happy, that then the removal of the cricket pitch from Victoria Oval with a view to Victoria Oval then being reinstated to a condition that is acceptable and usable come the next football season. So all being equal, yeah, fingers crossed, there will be a successful transition between one and the other this year.
Thank you, Councillor. Any discussion from the floor? I can confirm that, with the exception of one light, everything's record. The consultant finally. So I'll formally put that. All those in favour? Thank you, councillors. Meeting of the Warren Local Emergency Management Committee held on the 12th of May. Looking for a mover and second to quickly get this out of the road. Councillor Kelly, Councillor Kinsey. Thank you, Councillor Kelly.
Yeah, no comment other than the minutes received and noted that one comment is actually well written and a very good flow of information.
Councillor,
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor. Just a question on page 3. I'm wondering what the security issues have been at Kalara House. That was the comment today.
They're making sure there wasn't a security issue. Fencing while they're doing the construction work in between.
I just read security has been an issue with staff, especially on the riverside.
Councillor
So
McCoskey,
now they have a security officer.
have you got a comment for that?
Yeah, through the Mayor, I might have a little bit to add to that. I think the security issue is an issue with respect to the renovations that are happening in Kalara House, and the fact that the building is not secure overnight, and they've engaged security guards so that access to the Kalara House precinct is safe for the staff and the occupants.
And that's it. And so eventually then security fencing went up and the security guard wasn't needed. I think.
Any other comments? Councillor
Just
McCoskey.
another one with regards to the outgas at the airport. Has that situation improved at all in recent times, or is it still the same?
Good for locals. Making sure that we haven't received another consignment of fuel, but we're making sure that everything is right on a needs basis locally.
Any other comments? If not, I'll put that formally. All those in favour? Thank you. C item, meeting of the Economic Development Promotions Committee held on the 13th of May. Councillor Derrick, the second Councillor Houston. Councillor Derrick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just one recommendation coming out of that, which is regarding the memorandum of agreement with Riversmart, being that we offer a 12-month extension of the current MOA, full analysis of that to come. During the meeting, we had a very informative discussion with Kerry and Angela from the Department of Primary Industries and Regional Development. As per the minutes, there's quite a lot of dot points there, so we did cover a lot of bases there. So they're definitely a very good contact to maintain, and they have a lot of resources and a lot of information that can help us to achieve things that we want to achieve. The only other thing I was going to draw attention to is just under general business. You might note that we've discussed the idea of a welcome to Warren function. So that came up, and I think we'd all like to see that reinvigorated. That was a very preliminary discussion, and I think we got to the point of perhaps going back to the community members who had volunteered to help organise that previously, and see where that leads. So it's been a number of years since we've had a welcome to Warren function, so it certainly would be good to see that happen again. Happy to take any further questions, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Councillor Cleveland.
Yeah, through the chair. I'm just wondering, is the Chamber of Commerce, is it still operating at the moment?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I don't believe the Chamber of Commerce has had a meeting for some time. I'm not sure what the official status is at the moment, but yeah, so not for a number of years. I don't think we've had that function.
Through the chair again, I'm just wondering if, because over many, many years, I actually packed a lot of the gift packs full of welcome to Warren through the business down the road. I'm just wondering if the Chamber of Commerce isn't happening, what is it not a possibility that a Lions Club maybe do something? It was a great event and went for a very long time. I just, not ashamed, but I just see it very sad that something that was run for so long and was so successful, we're discussing whether or not to have it, especially with the amount of new people from everywhere that are coming to the community. Just a point.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That was very much along the lines of the discussion that was had in the meeting. And we, as I said, we got to the point of perhaps going back to the community members who were last interested in helping to organise it and see where that leads, which may mean approaching some community groups to help. Thank you.
Sorry, Councillor.
Just one more through the chair. I just, on item 4 of dot point 1, I don't know that many times. Is that really a dig at the Warren community? Like, these people, Shepherds and Roberts, are coming to the community. To me, the way I read that, and as if the community are not interested in what's going on, I just find that as probably really negative.
Yep. Through you, Mr. Mayor, I definitely don't think that sentiment was there at all. And I said that they have a lot of resources and a lot of help to offer. So I think it was with the best intentions. They want to help our community. And yes, I think they have expertise and resources that could really help. And it was their suggestion to perhaps hold a business breakfast, so a networking, informal sort of event to bring businesses together, which we did note, I think, in the general business that could be possibly looked at as part of the Heartline Reconnected program. So no, I think
Councillor, my personal involvement in those two ladies, they've been involved in a lot of projects that we've been involved in. The redoing the swimming pool, our Heartline project, those two particular government employees certainly put their best effort for us. It'd be cynical of me to say that they are better than most. Councillor McKay.
Through you, Matt. I see there's a DPIRD comment about assistance being available. Is that assistance potentially
no, sorry, through you, Mr. Mayor. When I say they have a lot of resources to offer, staff, information, contacts, connecting with other organisations, not funding per se currently.
Anyway, so can I formally put that as received tonight? All those in favour? No, motion, sorry. Sorry. We received a note in the following recommendations with Riversmart being extended, the MAU be extended for 12 months with a major review to be done in this 12-month period. Is everybody clear with what the both things that are on the board? So there's no discussion with that. If not, I'll formally put that all those in favour. Going on to the next one is the meeting of the Mets on the Tuesday, the 19th of May. Just mover and seconder for this to get discussions underway. Councillor Kinsey, Councillor Surderton, Councillor Kinsey.
Move for discussion. So that I'll reckon that the minutes may be received and noted. Sorry.
How do you want to do this, General Manager? You want to duck through that, or is there anything to anybody's notice, or is that all? General Manager.
As the year leads up, there's still a fair amount on page 4, money going out, the money coming in. That's probably normal. We hopefully just before the 30th of June we'll get a fair amount of money coming in. We're having we're starting to get pretty serious with the contractor consultant who's supposed to be undertaking an electronic document management system. We have to work out process in the future of if they're actually not going to be able to. The customer service action, we'll call it the new Bluey system, it's been implemented internally with certainly the last week or so. Everyone's been getting their follow-ups.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we have implemented the system internally, and we've so far had a lot of requests come in. That's through us, our own staff entering them into the system from the community. So we are just about to implement the external one. So you'll be seeing QR codes in community common areas and also on the website. So that people from the community can be able to directly enter their requests. So far it's going very, very well.
Thank you, sir.
We're starting to put in train what's required, waiting for a final council decision in relation to curbside recycling. With good discussions with the contractor in preparation, good discussions with people who are going to be doing our pretty serious communication strategy. We get everything right. Waiting for that decision end of June. We're slowly working through our vacant positions. Sometimes a spurt of applications, and sometimes, and we're doing a bit of a rotation Facebook-wise and in the newspaper advertising for those vacant positions. And we within our organisation, our managers and supervisors and our staff relating to payroll have been going through the draft new award to learn the changes. So far the award increase for 26-27 has been as per the budget suggestion that we've got within our papers, which is good. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Any other comments, questions, Rob? If not, I'll put that. All those in favour? Thank you. Our next one is a meeting on the 19th of May, the Showground Racecourse Committee. Remover and seconded, Councillor Cleasby, Councillor Kelly.
Through the chair, had our meeting on the 19th. and type of meetings sometimes we have in this committee. This was very sedate, and it was a good meeting. We had a good roll up of were proper decent people, I suppose, that were here for the right reason. So there's a few things going on down there. The first one is with the Show Society. There's an excess of gates and panels from the extension of the cattle yards through a grant last year. The Show Society have sold some panels. They've been invoiced, paid for, and the money is sitting in the Show Society's account. They're wanting to replace those cattle panels with sheep yard panels, which will do the stud sheep, and at times can be used for sheep sales, like ram sales out there, maybe hideout, so whatever. That's still ongoing because there's a bit of discussion between that committee of how much they want and how much they should share with the other users of them. So that's still ongoing. The total panels they sold is $18,450, which they've got. At this stage, there's 42 gates still at the Shire Yards, my understanding. So they've got a value of about $300 each. So that committee is now discussing how many sheep yard panels they want and what to do, which will come back. There was a submission tendered by Mr. Philip Waterford regarding a bridge, access bridge that was crossing the race course on days of polo cross and things, so that it was received and noted. It received very little or no support whatsoever. Financially, I think it was way the costing that he put forward was way under that. There was issues with insurance, everything was just wrong. So there's some upgrading of the water going down there, and there's some extra taps asked for different areas, so that's ongoing. And that was about it. So finished, and it was a good meeting this time.
Yeah, I back that up. I congratulate the members of the public that come, the youth groups come along with that. So it was everybody exceptional. One apology because
3 minutes, Mayor. Just a comment. I had out-of-town people come to the Polo Cross Carnival, and their comments were that council needs to be congratulated for the excellent facilities, the amenities they had, and that there wasn't a weed out of place. That was just nice to hear some positive comments.
yeah, the facility is looking good. We are having a race meeting hopefully on Monday. As per yesterday, we've been notified, I think, the 12th, 14th. They've been allocated another meeting. The facility is looking good for the show. I congratulate the staff that are all involved in keeping them there, especially Robbie down there. You know, it's pretty slick down there, and it'll look good for the show, especially with the rain event that we've had. Any other comments, guys? My last comment is that this is the biggest committee that we've got that's interact with a massive amount of user groups. I think it's 11 or 12. And my comment to the meeting was that working as a team is the way to go, and not be siloing into every different user group. And the committee is the place to do that. I also made them aware, our negative costs that you guys have saw in our estimates. We need as a community to encourage more uses that so we can defray some of our structural costs. Councillor Clesby.
Yeah, through the chair. One last question that did arise at the meeting, which could have changed by now, which doesn't sit well with me anyway, is everyone's done their calendar for the year. At the time of the meeting, the undercover riding area, which is a massive cost to council for maintenance and whatever, has 4 days usage for the year. Now, I don't know if council, as a council, we have to do more. The user groups definitely have to do more, but I think that's way under the mark for a complex of that size and how great it is. It's 4 days is shocking.
Thanks, councillor. So if that's the end of that, I'll put that. All those in favour? Received and noted. Thank you. Moving along. Our next is item 8, delegates report. Item 1, the New South Wales PLA Central West Zone meeting on Thursday the 19th of March. Just give Councillor Surdity seconded, please. Councillor Kinsey, just to get this underway. Councillor Surdity.
Yeah, it's the meeting that myself and Erica were unable to attend in person. So although I'm not on the actually attendance list, Erica is. I did attend via the online system, so that's just an adjustment when we have the next meeting. Everything is in there. It's a good meeting as per usual. Good meeting with proper attendance, mainly always due to the actual cost of the fuel to try and get down there. The next meeting that we're having will be the switch meeting, which will be the conference, and it's also going to be held in Bathurst. And at this stage of the game, it looks like neither myself nor Erica will be in attendance at that one. There's not a lot on the agenda that actually triggers us. We can link in if need be. Also going down there, we're just not sure whether it's actually worth. And then you'd have to have accommodation for 3 nights. So pretty much all there, everything that's covered. Unless anyone's got a query, I'd just like to move it as it is, please.
Thanks, councillor. Any other questions? That, if not, I'll put that. All those in favour? Thank you, councillor. The next one is the general meeting of the Country Mayors Association held on Friday the 27th of March. This is 2 country mayor meetings ago. This one we received the minutes. The minutes are there for you. Detailed, interesting. Jenny Atchison, the new, at that stage, the brand new Miss Kelly Sloan, the Minister for Vaucluse, the Opposition Minister. The new President of LG New South Wales spoke, Darcy Byrne.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor.
Sorry, on moving.
I'm happy to second.
Yeah, apologies, guys. I'm not with it today. Please forgive me. I'll move it. Councillor Derrick seconding it. That it was financial sustainability. We're all on the same page. Country mayors especially, but LG New South Wales are still fighting for our 1% of FAGS grants to be allowed. Against that, the federal budget came out after this event, and our FAGS grants are slightly reduced. The full reports are there. The one thing that is of interest, and I will be following up, is the Rural Health Access Survey results. So the Rural Doctors Network and Country Mayors Association put a lot of stuff into it, and We are just in the process of getting an online, like an online tool with health, demographics, health, what in down, and when I learn how to use it and investigate that further, I'll comment to you. Other than that, I don't think unless I answer any questions on that. Councillor Kinsey.
It's probably not very important, Mr Mayor, but on the first page, 3, second paragraph, we need to flip the government and federal parliamentarians. What does that mean?
Sorry, I'm not with you, Councillor.
First page.
On the minutes,
Yeah.
presentations.
Yeah, number 3.
Number 3, the launch of the CMA's Investor Spend.
Yeah, the second paragraph, the end of it. We need to flip the government and federal parliamentarians. What does that mean?
I appreciate, this is Darcy Murr, I appreciate the positive message of this campaign, but the federal government has been dismissive. I'm not quite sure.
Well, that probably means we need to make sure that we get them on side. Get them on
To
side.
give a brief, Darcy is the mayor of Inner West Council, which is basically just west of the CBD, about where the fish markets are, in through there. He is reportedly, which is also the Prime Minister's electorate, and their mates. But he's adamant that the financial sustainability of local government across the country, not just ours, across the country is in dire straits. And I'll publicly say, and I'll remind you guys that we, of the 55 million, we're running 9-something rates and 9-something fags. There's a long way from where we're at. Every council, especially rural country councils, are struggling. Right, so I'll quickly put that. All those in favour? Thank you. The 20th of April saw the Warren Interagency Support Group. I'm looking for a move and second. Councillor Derrick, Councillor Mackay. Thanks, Councillor.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd say the Warren Interagency meetings are always well attended and very informative, but it was great that we seem to have overcome the technical difficulties by moving into the smaller conference room. Because so many people do attend via Teams, we had been having difficulty with the Teams set up in this room. So we certainly have enough space and seem to work much more effectively and without interruption in the smaller conference room. I don't have anything further to add to the minutes, but I'm happy to take any questions from the councillors. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor. Any questions? Councillor.
Through you, Mayor. It's just the appropriate time to ask questions about the Possums preschool and the status of that, given the letter we've received.
Councillor Mackay, we discussed that at Hogs yesterday. We haven't heard anything as yet. The regional manager has sent an email this morning to them asking how things are going, and as soon as we get an answer, I'll keep everybody informed about where they're going. You haven't received a reply, Councillor Derrick.
Through Ms Mayor, I just want to clarify. At the time of the interagency meeting, the news regarding little possums haven't been made public, so that wasn't discussed during the meeting. They were discussing another project they have in mind for future grant applications, but it didn't come up at the interagency meeting. So it wasn't a deliberate omission, just a couple of days before it went public. Thank you.
Everybody is aware that I entertained a meeting with the new proposed committee and their legal representatives here a few weeks ago. We haven't, and we advised them about a few matters, including how they should go about it and get their business case, which they hadn't seen any financials or anything yet. As soon as we get a reply, I'll personally let everyone who can know. Right. Where we have to, I'm going to put this. So I'll put that as it's on the screen there. All those in favour? Thank you. We now, we've got no policy items. Sorry, item 4, the meeting of the Warren Health Action Committee held on 29th of April. Just to move in a second for this, please. Councillor Surdity and Councillor Houston. Councillor Surdity.
We had a special meeting on the 29th of April to discuss whether or not this committee was worth keeping as a viable committee. Originally, it was set up to try and work out with the doctor situations and stuff like that. We've now got to the stage where we've done everything that we can under our banner, because there's a lot of other agencies in town who still do the same sort of thing. We're very limited in the numbers that we can get to attend to meetings, which was why we had a meeting planned in October, which we had to if you want a better word. So at that meeting on the 29th, we had a good discussion, and the members present decided that, given the fact that we're sort of, for the want of a better word, we've lost our relevancy in why it was created. So we decided that would be time to disband and dissolve this committee. An update on that now is that we ended up, we put in our legal report that we have to do through the ATO. Dr. John Burke is our public so he's done that. We've donated the balance of money that we had left in, which was $249.50. So we made the decision that that would be donated to the Royal Flying Doctor Service, which I did last Friday, I think it was. The only thing we've got left to do now is everything's gone through the ATO, the ABN, the whole lot. All we've got to do now is close the bank account. I just wanted to make sure that that money had actually transferred successfully. So now I've just got to go to the bank and find out what we have to do to close that bank account. So it's not that we won't support other agencies within the town that do the same thing. It's just it's not really a relevant committee for us to have as a separate entity.
Thank you, Councillor. From my point of view, I'd like to congratulate those that were involved in that committee in the process of getting the RFDS here and other housing stuff. And I appreciate you're not the only organisation that's got volunteer burnout at the moment. So I would like to convey my personal thanks to the
I should do that. Thank you.
So at that, I'll put that, all those in favour. Thank you. As I said earlier, item 9, we've got no policy items at the moment. We'll move on. We'll move on to will we quickly? We'll move on. We'll do reports of the general member outstanding. We're going to adjourn the meeting at 9:45. If we don't quite get through this, we'll report 10, I need to adjourn the meeting. So, Morris Street. So I'm looking for a move and a second for item 1, the general reports of the general manager outstanding reports checklist, please. Or Councillor Sernity, Councillor Sernity.
For discussion. That's the one I'm looking for.
General Manager, would you like to quickly run through that?
Really the first ones that have been finished are bottom of page 6 and page 7 relate to the setting of the sale prices for the Anyborough Estate land and making sure advice is provided to Housing Plus. And the bottom of page 7 is in relation to the fraud and corruption policy framework information that was just now tidied up. Middle of page 8 is again further reporting that relates to ARIC. On page 9, financial information is being reported to the next ARIC, which is next week. Everything's now in train in relation to what needs to happen, subject to the council making this final decision at the June council meeting in relation to proposed curbside recycling. Everything's in the budget, waiting. Same thing with the quarterly review information that's now reported to this council meeting on page 10. Operational plan and estimates, etc., is now being advertised and waiting for proposals on Monday, the 1st of June. So that's the top of page 11. A little bit of tidy up rain probably is slightly affecting what's happening down on the river behind police station and Neville Hall, etc. But there is still a fair amount of piling going on. They are hoping to have it finished before the 30th of June, but just in case we actually have put in a time extension request to both the Commonwealth Government and through the state DQ to the Commonwealth Government. Page 13, Glenmar Street works have been finished, and the major application for a road train route so road trains can get into Skyride. Page 16 is implementation of the new Bluey system. What was funny, Councillor? Did you find a good one? I've left one spelling mistake there for someone to find. Stormwater asset management plan's been adopted and tidied up. Hopefully, is on our website in both the planning in the plan section and our section. Page 17 is tidying up in relation to the casual plant hire and minor works. Same with the consultancy for building service and civil engineering services. Same with page 18. It's the final tidy up of the environmental engineering services contractors or consultants we now can engage. Again, on page 19 is the engagement of the wire rope barrier firm, which probably hasn't been able to start yet because it's still working on making sure the road's wide enough to be able to take the wire rope system out on Regional Road 202 work. Mr. Mayor, that's it.
Comments or questions? Explanatory. No. I'll put that formally. All those in favour? Thank you, guys. I'm now going to adjourn the meeting for our biggest morning tea. Traditionally, we stroll down the Morris Street and our morning tea there. Good bit of please be.
Mr. Mayor, could you just make me as an apology? I actually need to be on the phone for a personal matter.
That's fine. Yeah.
So I'll just take.
Likewise. Right, guys, we'll adjourn the meeting until we return. Start this again. Ladies and gentlemen, reconvening after our visit to Morris Street for the biggest morning tea, and publicly congratulate Mrs. Plunk down there, and thank you for your support. Our next item is item 2, committee delegates meeting, the meetings list, and it is traditionally that we stand in recognition of Warringah being a healthy town to keep awareness of healthy lifestyles. Council will be standing with deal item 2 of this report, and I congratulate those councillors that walked to Morris Street and slightly have a go at myself and Councillor McCoskey to drive on. We'll. So I'm calling for a mover and a seconder for this, please. Councillor McCoskey, Councillor Houston. So thank you. Any discussions, ladies and gentlemen? You see from that list that life around here is pretty, and seems in the 18 months that I've been in this role, it seems to get busier. So if there's no discussions, I'll just formally put that received and noted. All those in favour? Thank you, Councillor. Moving along, we now go to work progress report infrastructure projects on page 25 of the report. And looking for a moving second to get this underway. Councillor Wass, I've got you, and Councillor Cleesby, thank you. Councillor Wass,
Move for discussion, Mr. Mayor.
Major questions or General Manager, would you like to comment? It's all pretty self-explanatory. The main one's obviously the levy reconstruction.
Mr. Mayor, a few grant applications, and one grant application has become a project, which is fantastic. The Heartline Reconnected, which was pretty well explained in the Economic Development Promotions Committee.
Any other questions, guys? Where we're at?
Mayor, so the information we have on our desk is related to that project.
That's correct. Yeah.
And was this talked about at the last council meeting?
Briefly mentioned, Councillor.
So could just a quick summary of what's being granted?
So it's more business social orientated than tourism. We're the lead, and we'll be doing most of the work, and so the other two councils are still Bogan and but we'll be making sure that a fair amount that this it's shared, but a fair amount in relation to I'll call it economic development and the social side of country heartline, because it can't be the same.
That answer your question?
Yes, I just thought we had some concerns about the level of partner support. With that one,
Previous one.
In the previous one we
I
had.
understand that, but do you think that'll fly through to this one?
The actual structure of this one's slightly different. It's not coordinated with JO and its previous coordinator. It will be managed more in-house.
Okay.
That's not relying on other people as much. The acquittal of the one before is pending and it's online for further. There's a couple of T's to cross and I's to dot prior to that happening for committee. We're to the point that everything's live with the exception of physical signage, which needs to be done before a certain date. Any other questions, guys? I'll formally put that all in favour. Thank you, Councillor. Moving right along, we have disposal of issues of designated persons like that is received and noted. I'm looking for a mover and a seconder of that, please. Councillor Thurdy and Councillor Derek, thank you. Councillor Thurdy.
No, just the same comments.
Is anyone any comments, questions? Otherwise, I think we need to start. If there's not, I'll quickly go with that. All those in favour? Thank you. Item 5 is the determination of the local government remuneration tribunal. I will personally move this if I'm looking for a seconder, please. Councillor Kinsey. You're all aware of the General Manager and myself had a face-to-face talk with the tribunal. The tribunal is put together by the Premier of the State as an independent tribunal to, in the Minister of Local Government, to look at the financial returns for being a councillor, and we put a pretty in-depth submission to them, as did others, including quite a number of our own alliance of councils. The report came back with virtually saying no change. It's on my desk in there if anyone would like to see it. So where are we going from here? We are going to adopt the 3.7 increase in remuneration for yourselves and myself, and on the 1st of July, which is where we put our budget. It affects you all, and yes, I strongly think that it needs to be a little bit more than that, but I congratulate and help and thank you for your work during the past year and next year. So I'm entertaining any comments or questions about the recommendation. If I haven't got any, we'll put that. All those in favour? Thank you. We're now moving along onto the report of the Regional Manager Finance and Administration. Item 1 is the reconciliation certificate in page 1 of the report. The recommendations, the statement to be received and noted. I will remove in a second of that. Councillor McKay, Councillor
I'll move that the statement be received and noted. I would like to see in terms of the investment reconciliation, the VSW is pretty out of date. Can we just get those updated, those numbers? Yes, it's not like sort of 4.3 now.
So I do check those at the point in time, depending on the number of days that the investment is structured. It may not give me every month equivalent, of the BBSW.
So is that, sorry, through you, Matt. So is that the indicative BBSW rate, is that recorded on the date that you make the investment?
No, that's at the time I run the report for that relevant month.
Okay, yeah.
So as at the end of April, I get those figures from they're called Curve Securities. Have all of our return deposits through. So it's not split between 1, 2, 3. It's just generally 1 month, jump straight to 3 months. Then so
I understand, but it's 4.3 at the moment, so it's been 4.3 for 6 weeks. So just probably worth checking and see why it's not updating.
Thank you. So I'll formally put that, all those in favour, received and noted. Thank you. Item 2, statement of rates and charges. The statement of rates and charges you received and noted. Looking for removal in a second for that, please. Councillor Kelly, Councillor Kelly.
Yeah, the statement of rates and annual charges be received and noted. Thanks.
Questions, comments, anything from staff we need to talk about? No. In that case, ladies and gentlemen, I'll formally put that be received. Thank you. Item 3 is the works progress reports for the finance administration projects. Basically office equipment and the electronics management being looking to remove the second for discussion. Councillor Sturdy, Councillor Euston, Councillor Sturdy.
Just moving the recommendation, thank you.
We heard some comments earlier about our implementation of a management system. Anyone got any more questions about that?
Please, Mr. Mayor. In that office equipment budget, can someone explain to me why we only carried over 112,000 when only 52 was expended out of 222? There's a few dollars not there. What happened to them? You had an original budget of 222, you expended 52 and carrying over 112.
24, 25. That's last year.
So the 112 was already included in the 220.
So that was added into that. Is that what that means?
Yes.
Righto.
It hasn't changed, just on that. Main through you, Mr. Mayor. The amount spent hasn't changed, so a lot of that movement is just pending the records management system. At this point, I don't have any further update on that.
What was the cost of that? Is that 52,000?
No, that'll be made up from laptops, PCs, other things. There's a small amount of the cost related to the records management system. We haven't been billed for that for quite some time. It's sort of stagnant. So the bulk of that cost, I can't recall off the top of my head, but
30 something.
the whole cost.
Not the financial system.
So I can give more of a breakup to you separately if you like, Councillor.
I just think it's time to crack off those information management system people and try something that's going to work. Or it doesn't seem like that's been improved.
There's a time limit I have in mind. So just as a brief update, I guess, I've tried calling and emailing these people and inquired by Council's managed services provider. So the next step is I'll write to them formally, probably give them 10 to 14 days to respond. And if we don't get any traction from there with a scoped, definitive, agreed project timetable,
delivery and implementation, then yes, that's likely going to be the outcome.
Thank you.
Director, I think there is a general feeling that this should progress, or we'll find somebody else. Councillor McKay.
Really, just to add to the general feeling you alluded to, as I think we talked about last meeting, this has been on the board papers the whole time we've been here, and we have had no progress. As I understand it, from the last board meeting, we paid them very little, and I really can't see the point of sending them a letter asking them to submit something if they just have been non-responsive for the last 24 months. Not telling anyone how to do their job, but I'd be seriously looking to crack them off, as to use your terminology. Councillor.
Thank you, Councillor. I think we're all the same opinion that this needs to move on. We, especially some of you councillors have got a lot of expertise in this field. But anyhow, we'll leave it with you, Director.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, for the last X amount of months, there has been communication with them, like explained prior. So earlier this year, they did get back to me. We had some data integrity items that were checked and clarified, provided that to them. That was around name and address registers, suppliers, other things that needed to be in the system. So that was probably January, February this year, and I haven't heard back from them since, despite my best efforts. So the formality, as per the agreement with them, will be to give them notice to say, hey, we need to do this. If it doesn't progress, then the option is for us to withdraw.
Thank you. All those in favour? Thank you so much. And now we move to item 4 of the Divisional Manager Finance Administration March quarterly review, budget review, that the amendments be itemised and listed in the 26 quarterly budget review be authorised. So I'm looking for a move in a second to get discussion underway. Please, Councillor Kinsey, Councillor Sernedy, Councillor Kinsey.
Recommendation.
On staff or General Manager or
Mr. Mayor, if I may, one thing that we would like to try and capture in the resolution or otherwise, as amenable to council and the GM. The first item of this quarterly budget review for March, on page 10, you'll see is the consolidated fund review. I just wanted to bring to council's attention that at the time I had difficulty getting the mandatory Q3 template from the government. They conveniently made an update in their council portal and didn't really communicate that the best. So after completing this report, I did get their revised template, which includes this, the first section of it is an overview, is what they're calling it. And it has a different view of each fund, certain operational results and capital spend. So I just wanted to make that clear that it is excluding that overview section. Happy to provide it after the meeting.
Do you want to, Mayor, second mover and a seconder, just say be authorised with the what's it called, with the overview section to be provided to councillors separately by email. You happy with that?
You happy, Councillor Sir? Councillor Kinsey?
Nope.
So the overview template will be provided by email or hard copy via English in the all good? Well, I'll formally put that. All those in favour? Thank you, Councillor. Over the page, we're now moving on to engineering services. Divisional Manager, Engineering Services, Sylvester. Item 1, our work project report. Looking for a mover and seconder for this very extensive report that's in your business paper. Councillor Kinsey, Councillor Kelly. Councillor Kinsey.
I'll just move the recommendation. It's pleasing to see a lot of work being completed. So that it's not much going now, but it's good to have the run.
Yes, Councillor Kinsey, I there in the road space, yeah, we're getting there. We've got, as you saw in the budget stuff, we've got work for next year. But then everything's going to stop up once more. Flood stuff finishing and the works that we've been programming for, we're fine. But you know, we're not looking as we were 3 years ago. We're not looking 2 to 3 years out. We need to attract grants and funding for our 27-28 year. Councillor McCosker.
Just in light of that, moving forward, the Mitchell Highway maintenance.
No, nothing positive yet, Mr. Mayor.
Yep.
They did put a pile of gravel halfway, 5 k's out of Beavertide.
Yeah.
They must be planning on doing something.
Well, they need to do something.
Yeah,
but we're not online the other side of the road is also doing a lot of work. It's the from Nevertide to our shore bound. But it's in train if we're invited. No, but it's not there.
Just a question for you, Mayor. The SMS and email communication about Huntsville roads being closed seems to be working really well. Just wondering, do we go out and put a road closed sign up on those?
It's not practical.
It's not practical, I understand. And so what's the compliance like? Do we go out after rain as people with hold down and inform the drive, or is it not too bad?
No, it's not too bad. The big thing is that to stop the commercial activity. Practically, we realise that some people have got to get to town and get to school and get to work and all that sort of thing. That's fine, but we don't want bloody great beat up doubles coming in. And it's seen, and I congratulate the staff for pulling it off because they put it on. You know, in previous times, sometimes it was left on for a lot more than it needed to be. But it's to especially the non-local knowledge. Any other comments? Sorry.
Just with regard to looking at that budget there, there's a bucket called footpaths and cycleway, which there's still a substantial amount of money there. Does the footpaths and that necessarily fall under roads, or does it come back under town services for maintenance of the footpaths?
Town services, but it's a combination, councillor, because it all comes under the divisional manager.
It's people walking, and then even more so the senior people around town on the carts are having a bit of a problem traversing a lot of the footpaths. There's some fairly substantial trip hazards and sort of tank traps, whatever you want to call them, around the place. And I just wondered if we could have a look at it or something. I think there was a bit of a survey done probably 5 or 6 years ago around town. Certain areas were marked out, sort of here tag for repair, but it's a fairly, quite a dangerous situation, really.
Thank you, councillor. Anything else jumping out? Councillor? I'll formally put that. All those in favour? The next one is item 3, sorry, 2, works project and services, item 2. Looking for a second to get discussions underway. Councillor Sturdy, Councillor please. Thank you, Councillor Sturdy. Again, very consequential report. Questions delegate oh, sorry.
Something that I've been noticing over the years, Mr. Mayor, is the consumption of Nevertire out of its bore, and we're gradually rising every year. So I only need a couple more houses to be built, we'll be probably sitting on the limit. We're on 76% now, but I don't went back 10 years, it wouldn't be anywhere near that. What I'm suggesting is that we should be finding out whether we can actually get more water, a bigger licence basically.
I'm not in favour of that, and I'm not quite sure whether division management is I would say that the management of the consumption of water out of the bores in previous times probably wasn't measured properly and is now. So whether the increase is factual or not, I can't comment on it. Councillor,
Just an observation, the storm damage to the shade cloth at the Nevertire Park. I know I got a notification that it was going to go in on Monday and they agreed to go through the access through the hole because it was firmer ground. And then we got the rain, so I'm just wondering, is there any indication of how long before we might be back on track again?
Finished and done.
It's already up and down. How did you get in there?
yes,
Magic.
mate.
Sailed over it.
It's fine, Councillor. So, sort of, the councillor, I thought you knew everything that went on.
That's excellent. I did look out the window on Monday morning. It was over there at the time, and I thought I was late.
Congratulations to the staff for getting
Thank
that.
you very much. That's very
There's a beautiful picture of
Sailed in, Councillor.
you look at
It sailed in.
Oh,
should I?
Can I bring that up briefly? And soon we're on the capital of Warren Shire Nevertire subject. The insurance has come through on the.
Lovely. Thank you.
Didn't you like it?
We'll keep this light and bantering. Any others before I put this? We will bring that up. Yes. Probably on Monday, we'll be in our meeting with DQ Executive Officer. Sorry?
There's three things.
Yeah. The fact was, and for history for those, and it's history for me because I wasn't involved with the Shire, but some of you will be, that we have the bore flat bore which has been revamped, and we have an Alladrar bore that was decommissioned a number of years ago, and a new one was put down. It has been the licensing of the old one was decommissioned and the license disappeared. Over the time that I've been in council, which is now 6 years, we've been trying to apply for a WOL for the new bore, even though it is connected up as insurance. That if we lose one bore, we've got a second one. Our licensing and requirements and the licensing of the flat bore is under no discussion. We've got massive license, which we're not using a percentage of. The reasoning for the second bore is an insurance if we lose one bore, lose the bore flat. And if I'm stepping wrongly, Divisional Manager Buddy, the logical argument from DQ now is that we don't need the second bore because we've got adequate licence on the first one. My personal strong argument, and this is what I'm going to bring up on Monday, is we can lose that bore. It doesn't matter how much licence you've got in it. We need an insurance factor of having the second bore, which is only give me 200 meg. 200 meg. It is our backup. So the whole discussion of next week will be involved in critical needs water. When we looped the river, we went through the problem before. We lost all our firefighting capacity. This is also under that it is an insurance factor, so that if we had a catastrophic failure of that bore, which does happen, agricultural bores do fail and pumping does fail, but the whole bore can fail, then this is our insurance. So that's the argument that we're taking to Sydney on Monday, that it is, whilst we don't think we need the 200, we need the wall so that NRA won't arrive and slap a multi-$100,000 fine on us if they catch us using water out of the roll.
They've been very understanding, NRA. Very fortunately, they understand the problem we got, because really, in the end, we did not give up our wall. We did not decommission the wall. They just removed it without us knowing. So there's 200 megs of licence that we require back for various reasons.
Yeah.
And Mr. Mayor, the third thing that we're going to be talking about to the Executive Director of DQ is one of the most important telemetry locations for our flood risk study was the Warren Town Gauge, and guess which one they're not going to renew? Warren Town Gauge. We've had electronically for 3-4 years now, and so 1990 and on and on before then, it was all, we all went down and manually. We still do sometimes to check to make sure, but just we're actually going to ask. I think that's the one that probably does need to be electronic.
Through the chair. So they're not going to renew the electronic one at the bridge?
That's correct.
So the manual one is still there and visible and operational?
Yeah.
So do they realise that all the flood intelligence is based on the level of the river at the bridge?
They soon will.
Because without that, you've got nothing.
Yeah.
In the whole
absolute nothing.
Councillor, the whole if you read our submission to the Murray-Darling, the telemetry factors in the public space have been left behind, a long way behind all the telemetry stuff that's in the private space, and I'm really upset about this.
So, given if they don't renew it and the telemetry gauge at the bridge becomes obsolete, non-existent or whatever, we still have the visual one there. Yes, it needs to be straight. Technology is great when it works. And the telemetry is good when it's operational.
It's actually
when it falls over.
We can't believe it. I mean, we don't know that it's not working, but all the data that Divisional Manager Engineering Services Consultant has used has been based on
that gauge. Has been forever and a day.
And as I say, every submission that we've done over the years has improved the electronic telemetry system everywhere, so everything can be managed really well.
So if you go, like, there's a major flow coming down the Tribs at the moment, or some of the Tribs. And we need, you know, it's just basic flood management. And I don't know whether the budgetary constraints that they're not going to fix it come from DQ or come from Water New South Wales. But we're going to find out on Monday. Or make our council boss.
Councillor Voss.
So the maintenance of the town gauge, the manual town gauge at the very least, is that going to be continued to be funded by New South Wales or DQ?
We make sure of that.
We make sure of it. We will make sure of it, Mr. Mayor.
We as in
Our
council,
will make sure of
if we have to do it ourselves for no less than the visual gauge.
Oh. No one else goes and clears it?
No. Yeah, no, and the whole system of flood management relies on the flows down the river, especially from the Tribs, from Narromine through to Formiana. You know, it is important.
We simply cannot afford to lose 100 years of record keeping and record references by losing the town gauge under any circumstance.
Exactly. So, both these items that we've just discussed, briefing notes are coming to me so that we are A, passionate, and B, informed. Any other comments coming out of that? Councillor Kent.
Maybe if you change the source of the data you're getting. The previous data is absolutely useless. It's like the Department of Climate Change doing that stuff.
It's the convenience of it. The data is still collected manually. We can still collect the data manually, but it's time consuming and labour consuming. But you know, every licensed extractor in the Murray-Darling Basin has been forced to do telemetry for every private one, and it's nearly to the stage of your private bores and all that sort of stuff. To have a government department say that they're not going to do the telemetry anymore is in my mind. Nothing else? So we'll move on. I'll formally put that information received and noted. All those in favour, thank you, councillors. Plan. Item 3, plan, works progress for plan, Councillor Kinsey. Seconder, please, Councillor Kowski, Councillor Kinsey.
Yeah, no, there seems to be a lot going on in the workshop. Can be good to that. At least it's happening. Thank you. Move the recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Kinsey. Any other comments? You guys would have, councillors, ladies and gentlemen, would have noticed on plant machinery equals whether you're paying for it or you're repairing it. Some things we repair more, some things in Europe we don't do work with. Is there any other discussion on that? Briefly, sorry to leave everybody on. If there's not, I'll formally put that. All those in favour? Thank you. And the last item is the LG New South Wales Water Management Conference. Looking to remove the second. That's on page 33. Sorry, Councillor Kinsey again. Yeah, thank you. And a second, please. Councillor Houston, thank you. Councillor Kinsey.
Move the recommendation, Mr. Mayor.
Information to be noted. The attendance at 1 interested councillor, the town service manager or nominee, 2 in Ballina on the 3rd and 4th of September. I'm not asking for volunteers yet. I'm just asking for we allocate the funds to go to the meeting possibly one of the elected body to go with the other councillors. So everybody clear what we're doing. We're not calling for volunteers.
Mayor, he'll ask for volunteers relevant time before it.
In the water management space, I think it's important that we be. Any questions about that? If not, I'll quickly put that. All those in favour? Thank you. Reports. We're moving on to reports. Manager, Health and Development Services. The development application approvals are there in front of you for your information. The information to be received and noted. Councillor Wass and Councillor Clisby. Thank you, Councillor Wass.
Received and noted, Mr. Mayor.
I don't think this needs any discussion, but is anyone? I'm not shutting it down, but thank you, councillors. I'll formally put that. Thanks, guys. So we move on to item 2, work progress report, health and development. Number 2, the sheets are there. Looking for a mover and a seconder, please. Looks like I'm going to pick on Councillor Brewer this time. Councillor Brewer and Councillor McKay. Councillor Brewer, you
Just moving the recommendation, thank you.
questions or the black lighting stuff. The relevant things that have been done there are darkened out. Would you like to comment on anything, Director?
If you'd like me to go through them, if we just go to page 2 of that report, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. 2.74 and 2.75 are part of the Targeted Early Intervention program, which concluded at the end of December 2025. So they've all been finished up and quitted. The fit out of Carter Oval has been undertaken as well. On page 3, immediately under that, the slew motor for the excavator is in place. Yeah, just at the top of page 4, you'll see the support services. This is the CAPS. This is the program that has replaced the TEI, the Targeted Early Intervention, and there's just under $500,000 over a 4-year period, I think it is, to support a community youth worker. And I know the GM and our HR officer are going through the process of trying to fill that position at the moment.
Questions? Anyone? Councillor Sudi.
Just an update. I'm not sure if it fits into this one, but when back at the early March or May, we had the CWA public speaking conference here. Well, we'd like to thank very much for the council for allowing us to use the room. But it looks like we've had an increase in the number of children applied. Last year we had about 82, 83. From what we could judge, and I'm waiting on the final numbers, I reckon we're up another closer to 100, I think. And one of our children in the Mara school, I believe, made it on to the next level. A few of them made it through to the Narromine one, and from the Narromine one more up possibly have made it to the Oregon.
Thank you, Councillor. It was
interesting.
It was a major event. I'm being instructed from my family that I'm going to go to the next one.
You've already been told.
Yes. Thank you.
That was worth it. Thank you.
Moving along. Any other? If not, I'll put that all those in favour. Thank you, Councillor. Thanks for that. Item 10, motions and questions with notice. I think we have and that at this stage I will call for a motion to. I need a resolution from council to consider the matters on any matters that are in the committee of the whole closed council. So I'm looking for a mover or a seconder that we can move into closed council. Councillor Kelly and Councillor McCloskey. All those in favour that we move into the closed council report. Press and public excluded. The two councillors that moved that are happy to move the press and public be excluded. Happy with that. Both those motions can I now put? All those in favour? Thank you.
So, Mr Mayor, in the committee of the whole closed council, it's been recommended in relation to the supply and delivery of bulk fuel and AdBlue that in accordance with the Local Government General Regulation 2021 Part 7 Tendering Clause 1781A, the Council considers performing tender submissions. 2, accepts a panel of all the 3 tenderers in T022627 OROC tender assessment results. The assessment are shown in Addendum 2. Evaluation results 3. The contract be awarded for a 36-month period from 1st of July 26 to 30th of June 2029. Provision be allowed for a 2 by 12-month extension based on satisfactory supply performance, which may take this contract through to 30 June 2031. And in relation to item 2, the provision of bitumen spray sealing services. First, there were not same part 1. There's a panel of all 9 tenderers for T01122627 AROC tender assessment results. Assessment shown in Addendum 2. Evaluation results. Contract be awarded for 36-month period from 1st of July 26 to 30th of June 2029, and provision be allowed for 2 by 12 extension based on satisfactory supply performance, which may take the contract through to 30th of June 2031. And in relation to the supply and delivery of bulk water treatment chemicals, first clause was the same as the others. And 2, accepts a panel of all 3 T032627 AROC tender assessment results of the assessment shown in Addendum 1. Evaluation results. Again, the contract be awarded for 36-month period from 1st of July 26 to 30th of June 29. And provision be allowed for 2 by 12-month extensions based on satisfactory supply performance, which may take the contract through to 30th of June 2023. And those 3 were all moved by Councillor Brewer and Councillor Kinsey.
If there's not any questions to that, I'm going to formally put that. All those in favour? Thank you, councillors.
Brewer and Kinsey.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your attendance. Again, I'll formally close the meeting.